Aloha, y'all. Welcome back to the Socially Awkward Chef. We are going to be making an easy roasted ratatouille pasta, and we are just going to use these 4 vegetables here. So that's just 1 yellow onion, 1 zucchini, 1 yellow squash, and 1 eggplant. You can use 1 large eggplant, or if not, 2 smaller ones should work. So let's just get started with our chopping. While we're cutting up our vegetables, go ahead and preheat your oven to 425 degrees. And the size that we are looking for are large bite-sized chunks. So I'm thinking let's just trim off a little off of each side. And sometimes the skin is a little bit tough, so we're not taking away too much. If you would like to leave that on, that is absolutely fine. And then from here, I'm just going to cut this into thirds. As you can see, the skin is just a little tough. Okay, and from here, let's just make it easy and put it on the not so tough side. And then just large cubes. I have a bowl here that I can just set everything off to the side. And I'm going to repeat this with my other half of the eggplant. The next thing that we're going to cut up is going to be both of our squashes. So we're going to repeat the same process and cut it into our large bite-sized pieces and put it into the same bowl as our eggplant. And for these, I find it easier if you can get it into these nice, approximately almost 1 inch thick coins. And then just cut them into quarters. That should do the trick. And these smaller ones you can just cut in half, and that way that helps to even up our cooking time. Last but not least, our onion. I'm going to cut off the top and the bottom, as well as that first outer layer. We're also going to be using some grape tomatoes. You can use as little as 1 pint. I am using 1 pound of them. And to that, I have about 1/2 of a bulb of garlic. You can see that the the skins are still on there, that's fine. We're just going to add those in there. We will be removing them later on. So the last couple of things that you're going to need to our tomatoes are some extra virgin olive oil, and just a few good glugs in here. Just give it a shake. And then I'm going to tuck these cloves of garlic in so they don't burn. We just want them to roast. Let's add some kosher salt as well as some freshly cracked black pepper. I'm using about a half a teaspoon of each. Give this another zhuzh. Let's go ahead and set this aside until our oven is ready. Now that our oven is ready to go at 425 degrees, we are going to now add some oil and our salt and pepper to our eggplant and squash mix. And the reason why we're doing this is we don't want these to hang out while the oven is preheating, and that salt is going to be drawing out all that moisture. So another couple of glugs of our extra virgin olive oil. About 1 teaspoon of salt. And at least a half of a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, or do it to your taste. I like pepper, so we'll be grinding for a second. Now let's give these a toss. All right, so from here, I'm going to put them, all of these, onto a sheet pan in a nice even layer. And we're going to bake these until they are nice and roasted. I would check on them after 15 minutes. It could take up to 20 or 25 minutes, but just keep a nice eye on them because we don't want them to burn. And we are also going to put in our tomatoes with our garlic cloves in at the same time as well. And one more thing. At this time, go ahead and get a nice big pot of water on to boil for your pasta. I am going to be using a penne, so any short pasta will do. Our pasta and veggies are finally ready, so the first thing that I'm going to do is fish out our cloves of garlic. And from here, I'm just going to squeeze these out. They are super hot. Let's carefully remove these. All right, so now that these guys are all out, all I'm going to do is just give them a quick mash. And let's use a fork. These are not as roasted as I would prefer. No worries. All I'm going to do is just give this a little rough chop so they're not just big hunks. And then I'm still going to add them into the pasta. So I'll be right back. Next up, let's add in all of our roasted veggies. For the garlic that I went ahead and just processed down a little bit, I'm actually just going to pop that right back into our cherry tomato mixture. And I'm just going to give that a little stir just so we break up the pieces of garlic. And then straight into our pasta. And let's fold this carefully. A full box of penne pasta will yield you approximately 8 to 10 servings. So of course, if you need to make more or less, go ahead and adjust accordingly. This is just a super simple recipe. As you can see, you can just add or subtract your veggies, and you can also add cheese. As it stands, this is a vegan dish, and I plan on adding some grated parm, as well as serving it up with some nice crusty baguette. So I hope that you really enjoyed this recipe and that you give it a try. If you do enjoy everything, please give a like, share, and subscribe. And thank you again for watching. Until we eat again, y'all. Aloha!